Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. I'm Clay, and today in this Short Circuits video, we are going to take a look at Studio 86 series Scourge. Here he is in box. Let's dive right in. So if you take a look, the packaging for the Studio 86 characters is pretty straight up by the numbers. There's not a whole lot going on here, to be honest. We've got an illustration of the character. It's not put into a scene or anything. It's just the character. On this side, we've got a close-up of the face. And I have to say that while the artwork is decent, it's not nearly as nice as the War for Cybertron series has been. That being said, you look on the back, and you've got your nice 80s style converging straight lines that look very, grids were big in the 80s. And so, you have grids that kind of converge to a vanishing point. Then, hey, that's what the future looks like. And you can see Scourge in his vehicle mode and in his robot mode here. And he comes with a blast effects piece. That's right, Dudley. He absolutely does. My cat wants everybody to know that Scourge does come with the blast effects piece. So I let him know, Dudley. So here he is. We're gonna take him out of his box here, so we can just pull him out right here. I have had this toy out of the box, which is nice because there's a few little tricks in transforming him that a little practice helps a lot with. So we're going to slide out the cardboard insert, and we're just going to toss this aside. And we are going to remove him from his bonds. So here he is, freed from his crackly plastic bonds, and you can see that he's got his blast effect piece, which kind of makes it look like it's shooting a ball of slime or something. I'm not sure if that's appropriate for shooting Autobots, but you know what? If he shoots any turtles, then he could end up with some pretty fierce adversaries once they've mutated in the sewers and been taught the secret art of ninja. Nonetheless, he does have the blast explosion piece here, and he has a gun, which is a pretty by-the-numbers gun. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to say about it, but he also has his cool wings, and he is very posable, so it's nice to see a really detailed and nicely posable figure with articulation points in the head. The shoulders move around. He's got the articulation swivel in the bicep and the elbow joint, and he has twisting wrists, and then of course full hip motion, knee joints. I keep wanting to twist the leg here, but it doesn't actually twist, and he has a tipping toe for the transform and a tipping heel also for the transform, and oh, of course, the kind of this has been something they've been doing for pretty much since the Siege series, is giving them a little bit of an ankle joint, which is nice so that when you spread the legs out, you can still have the feet planted flat on the ground. It makes them more stable, and it makes them look better too. So let's go ahead and show him with his Diorama Insert on the other camera. So here you can see him posed in front of his cardboard backdrop. This is one of the little add-ons that you get with the Studio 86 characters. They have these diorama things that are just made out of cardboard, but it gives you a little display stand and a scene to put the figure in. And in this case, it's depicting the scene when Thundercracker was turned into Scourge. So that's kind of a neat thing. Yeah, I'm not I'm not a big one for these personally. I don't have the space to be showing off large dioramas just for one figure, but it is a nice little add-on, and I do like the artwork that they put on here. You can see the Insecticons kickback and shrapnel in transition to becoming sweeps, and then of course he would become Scourge, which you never get the impression that the sweeps have individual names, and they all looked identical, which does beg the question to some degree when you did see some of them explode when the sweeps were first attacking the remaining Autobots on Autobot City. Did Scourge survive, or did one of them take his place? You don't know. They were all identical. Then that's another thing that kind of, it's kind of interesting about these guys, is that since we've got this guy, I personally would love to see a core class version of Scourge here, because that would be great for army building. You could have the full-sized version to be Scourge, the leader, but you could have some core class versions to be his minions, which I realize that in the TV show they were all the same size, but you know, at the price points, I'm probably not going to be buying multiples of this guy just for army building's sake. So you can see the figure here. It's a nicely built figure. The plastic is robust. It is a little bit weighty. It's pretty well articulated, although I do notice that the odd shape of the legs does seem to get in the way here. You know, it's like you want to put him into a stance where he's dynamically crouched and ready to pounce, but because of these little hip pieces and the fact that there's no swivel here in the thigh, then it's hard to get him into a good crouching pose, and you end up with kind of a half squat. Which you know, it's fine, it's not bad, it's easily the best version of Scourge that we've ever gotten. Compare that here. We've got this Gen 1 version that needs some real help. His paint is peeling. He's got some serious yellowing happening on the back panels and on the wings here. And none of the stickers have survived. He also needs some joint tightening. Yeah, he needs some help. But even in the best condition, this one's cooler. This one's just way cooler. I wish that I would have had this when I was a kid rather than this one. I mean, this one, it's okay, but you know, let's face it. This is just in every way an improvement. He does look great from every angle. In fact, let me go ahead and put him on the other camera so you can really see him in all his glory. So here he is in his robot mode, and I have to say that getting him into a pose is a little bit tricky. The combination of the oddly jointed legs and just how back heavy he is with all of this stuff on his wings really makes him difficult to force into a standing position. Now, that being said, the sculpt overall is very, very nicely done. I particularly like the face sculpt. He reminds me a lot of Vlad from the Castlevania series on Netflix. You look at that face, and, you know, I'm just kind of waiting for him to decree that humanity has to be destroyed. Which, you know, he's a sweep, so I'm not sure that would be all that much out of character for him, really. One other thing that's noteworthy is you can see how one of the hands is molded in a fist, the other one is actually opened, which is nice because it kind of highlights those pink fingers, which has just always been kind of creepy to me, and I'm glad that you get to see it here, and you can imagine that he's, you know, reaching into your skull and picking your brain apart or something. It is noteworthy that even with the open hand, he is still able to hold his gun, and that's important. Yes, Dudley, I'm telling them it's okay. Yeah, they know about the open hand. Dudley wanted me to let you know about the open hand. So, yes, I just told him. So, that's pretty cool. I kind of wish that they had done that with both hands. I can understand for the sake of an action toy if they wanted this to be more in a fist pose so that he could still, you know, punch rather than being more like... No, 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 you Autobots! You silly, silly fools! Whap, whap, whap! And only do kind of a slap. I challenge you to a duel! Whap! So I guess I get that, but I do like the open hand. It's a little more natural, and it allows him to be a little bit more than just a guy who's sitting there and holding his fists. So... let's go ahead and transform him into his vehicle mode because he is a transformer. He does that. Let's start by flipping in the heels and then the feet. Or heels first and then the foot in the front. And then we're going to take the back and we are going to extend. You see how the lower wing is on this kind of this linkage here that's got two hinges there, so we're going to pull that around there. We're also going to take this panel and pull it out here and just kind of put it out to the side there, so you're seeing the side of his hovercraft mode already. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, just like that, and then we'll pull that out to the side there. And then we have this panel here. So you see his wings are on these other double hinged linkage pieces there. So you're going to spread those out, and then you're going to pull that out like that. And then from here, we need to get the wings back out of the way so that we can pull the shoulders out away from the body like this, and then bring them down beside him. And we're going to try and square everything up so that it's all nice and neat there. There we go. And now we will pull the back panel up and away. And here, I'm going to move the wings so that you can see a little bit better of what's going on. So this moves out, and you got all of these linkage pieces here, and you have this little panel here, and that is going to cover his face. So this is going to make that that back piece that the sweeps are known for in their hovercraft modes. And then from here, we need to actually start putting things back together. So we're going to move all of this back here, and we're going to click it into place. And then you see how there are these little tabs right here on the back of his legs. Well, those are going to engage these little slots right here in this plate. So we're going to pull that back to where it clicks, and then we're going to click the legs into those tabs. Just like that. There's also a little tab in between the legs that allows them to go together, so don't forget that. That'll just align everything. So there we go. We now have the head sort of in its right position and the legs in the right position. So now we can bring the wings together and have them form around that complicated headpiece. And we're going to just have everything click together like that. And then we're going to bring, now you see how this one already put itself pretty much in the proper position. So we're just going to kind of neaten that up. And we're going to take this one and click it around. It's kind of getting stuck on this piece here, but we're just going to kind of move it around there and try and pull that out like that. And then one thing that I should have done before I started messing with the wings is the forearms have a little slot on the inside of the forearm, and that's going to engage this little tab that's on the leg right there. And so I'm going to put that in there just like that. You know, actually, I'm going to pull the wings out of the way, and that'll make it a little bit easier. It'll be easier for you to see, and it'll be easier for me to do. So you see how there's that little slot there and that little tab right there. We're just going to twist the arm around and make those things line up. And lock the arm into position right there. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And like I said, I should have done that early on. I forgot. There we go. And now we can put the wing things in position. And see, that makes everything just go together much, much easier. And now we can take these little side panels and get them to form around the arms on the underside. And we can close up these panels. And now we take this little piece right here, we close it against the back of the head like that. And then we have our gun, which can go any number of places. There's a little peg on the side here and a 5mm compatible socket right there that we can put it. And so we've got our Cybertronian hovercraft, which honestly, these always looked like flying bathtubs to me. But that's him. I don't really like the gun on the side here. I don't, you know, I feel like it's a little bit out of place, and I want to put it there. Now I can take the blast explosion and put it there. So that's pretty cool. But the gun, it just, I don't know. It just seems like I should be able to stick it on top or stick it in the front, and you can't. So that is his vehicle mode. Let me put it on the other camera so you can really appreciate it in all its glory, as I have said. So here he is in his vehicle mode, and you can see that we've got the blast explosion in the center cannon position. I have stored the gun on the back, which I kind of like better. You know, it just seems that it's out of the way there. Yeah, it's sort of in the way of where there would be thrusters, but you know, there's not a whole lot of science that goes into these things anyhow. The side panels mostly line up, but it seems like they never quite get a good tight snug fit to create a good sealed surface going from front to back here. The mode is certainly pretty accurate to the original Gen 1 movie mode. Oh, here, let me do this. I almost forgot. This is important. These things get turned upright. So there we go. All right, there. Now that makes a huge difference. Look at that. Now he's got his side cannons and maybe jet engines or whatever things sticking upwards. But all in all, the vehicle mode is okay. Again, it still looks a bit like a flying bathtub, and that's something that you can't change because that's the way the original movie was. But it is a unique Cybertronian mode, and it does have its interesting things to it. The only thing that I'm gonna say about this guy, though, is that there's a lot of facets here. There's a lot of interlocking panels that kind of struggle to form around the burly robot parts on the inside. So while this is easily the best version of Scourge that we have seen, I like it way better than the Titan's Return version. It feels more robust. It feels like a much more quality toy. The posability is great, and the colors are nice. The paint applications are used sparingly, but they make it look good. But I will say that it's still a little bit fidgety to transform. Getting the panels to line up and interlock and actually really look seamless is pretty tricky, darn near impossible, honestly. And you know, the blast explosion piece, it's okay. I kind of miss firing weapons, and I know I usually lose the missiles, but it's fun until you lose them. So I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, he is an 8.5. 8.5 is not bad, and certainly he comes with the diorama piece, which if you like putting your guys on display, especially with these kinds of packages, then that's a nice little add-on. It's very nostalgic. I wish that the original toy had been as good as this one, even with all of my subtle criticisms of the overall mold. It is still a vast improvement, and as I've said a few times, the best version of this character that they've done to date. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing and review of Transformers Studio 86 Scourge. He's you know, I can recommend him. I can certainly recommend him. It's not a super strong recommend, but of course, the Studio 86 series is all about nostalgia. It is, you know, they're not trying to appeal to the 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds who are only just getting into Transformers. They're trying to appeal to you and me, the people who are in our 40-some-odd years old and have disposable income and have been waiting like 35 years to get really good versions of these characters. That we're the target audience, and for us, this is a really nice representation of Scourge. So yeah, I think that if you're a Gen 1 fan, you want it. And it's not that expensive, so you know, just treat yourself. You know, maybe don't go through the drive-through a couple times this week, and you know that'll make up for what you pay to get Studio 86 Scourge. So if you like this video, or you like these kinds of videos, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so that you know when we're doing more of these Short Circuits videos. Other than that, this is Clay telling you to keep it Retrobot. Yes, it's keep it Retrobot. That's what I say at the end of the videos, and since this is the end of the video, then I said it, and I stand by it. Doggone it. That's right. Keeping it Retrobot. Because, you know, I am.